Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bridge Effect. I have with me Robertha Budy, who is my braider. We call her Birdie. She is, top-notch boss woman doing her thing. And so I brought her on today not only because she's blessed with braiding our heads here in the Atlanta area, but you have started working on another venture. So if you could just introduce yourself and kind of give us an overview of what you've been up to.
Thank you, Maria, first of all, for inviting me.
You're welcome.
So my name is Robertha Budy. Yes, it is Budy, but it's spelled B-U-D-Y. Now, of course, coming here from Liberia, I didn't know that booty was a thing. So then when I got here, the first thing I was greeted by was African booty scratcher. So I'm sure everyone is fully aware of that saying. So immediately I told my parents, we're gonna go ahead and change this. It's gonna be Robertha Budy, okay? Because B-U-D-Y is a little bit closer to B-U-D-D-Y. For a long time, I think a lot of people that knew me, I probably referred to me as Robertha Budy, but in all honesty, the pronunciation is Budy. I am a braider. I am a corporate worker. I work for McKesson as a sales rep. That is full time. And of course, as of late, I just started another business adventure that Maria mentioned, and it is Project R&R, and that is a real estate investment company where we are pretty much going to flip homes, acquire some older homes, flip it, either take the exit strategy as holding on to it and doing short-term rentals, or simply selling it back depending on how the market is behaving at the time. So that is a little bit about me. I have one property under my belt, and I think that was probably what kind of initiated this type of conversation.
No, I've been trying to get you on for a year. Don't do that.
Okay. Braid by Birdie. Yes.
Initially. I was trying to get her on because of her skills. She's crazy talented. But as fate would have it, it's at the appropriate time where she has another business under her belt, which needs to be pushed because we have to support this Project R&R, because I don't think we really have many Liberians in this space,
or even saying Black women, period, right? Just being a woman and being in the real estate market, working with contractors and general contractors, and just trying to be out there and just be a go-getter and in the dog man world, right? And that was pretty much what I was greeted with. So what I would like to share about the project, if Maria would allow me.
Yeah, go ahead.
For me, it's not that I even thought I was going to be headed down this venture. So COVID-19, everybody has their COVID-19 moment, right? COVID-19 was either great for some people, maybe in the middle for some people, but I think a lot of us probably found out a lot more about ourselves than we thought we knew, right? We had to get comfortable with some uncomfortable situations, being around your family all day long when you have some escapes. You kind of had to get reacquainted with some individuals, and I think for me, building relationships through Braids by Birdie was probably one of the biggest takeaways for me. So I braided for about 23 years. Yes, from 13, and I am 37 now. So braiding, and for me, was just like a hobby. I didn't really think anything of it, but then I was fortunate enough through social media and being at home, and some of my regulars saying, Birdie, just post, just share a video, just let us know what you're doing, and post, Birdie, post. And I think through me utilizing social media, I would say I probably started with Snapchat a little bit more than I did with Instagram and Facebook. Posting there, I was fortunate enough to meet a cousin of hers, and through her network, a big network, may I add, Edith Addy, I'm just gonna go ahead and shout you out, girl. Through her network, I was fortunate enough to meet Maria, and I was able to do her hair. And of course, for me, I love the fact that people can promote me without me even having to go out there and really market myself. But again, in business, we all know that marketing is super important. So I had to be introduced quickly. And Braids by Birdie took off, right? I made significant cash. There was a lot of cash flow. And because we were all at home, not really going anywhere or really spending your money, I realized that there was a lot that I was keeping in the bank. There was a guy I was dating at the time who will remain nameless. I think through COVID being COVID boo, we just kind of started watching HGTV a lot. And HGTV, don't get fooled, people. It makes you feel like everything is possible and is doable. However, there's a lot that goes on in the background that they don't show you on there. But that was simply my motivation for getting into the real estate space. So I watched it and I said, oh, well, I mean, if they can flip homes, I mean, that shouldn't be too bad. So no one was really buying at the time. Everything had really slowed down. So I think I really got into the market right before the inflation happened. So I had a realtor at the time, and he was pretty much of a shark. He went out there and he did his best, did his thing for me, and I was able to acquire the property. And that was in June of 2020. And so now there's a lot of research that you have to do, and I don't want to make it seem like, oh, it's just like a snap of your finger and it's like magic, right? Because you have to figure out like what loans work for you, where you are as far as your credit is concerned, kind of like what your budget is, like what your vision is for your project. I mean, that's all important. And because I was a newbie in the marketplace, I wanted to take I took the safer route.
Now, did you have to get your real estate license in order to enter into this space?
So that's a really good question. No, as an investor, you do not need a real estate license. Okay. But I do think that at some point, if you decide to grow and expand, it will be beneficial to have your real estate license.
Because then you'll be getting money back into your own pocket for finding your own property.
And also even helping others find their
property.
That is correct. Okay, that's just something to keep in mind. But I mean, what I'm saying is that you don't have to be there in order to get started.
Got it.
Right. So I got the property, and that's the first step. You're super happy. You're like, yes,
I got it.
Yeah, I did it. All right. Well, the real work begins.
Here comes the hard part.
The hard part, right?
The hard part.
This is the hard part right here, Madia, because the bank is going to give you the money, but they're not exactly hands off.
Can you kind of give, I don't know, what your purpose behind creating Project R&R was? Like, what does this particular project mean for you? And where do you see it going?
And why did I even call it Project R&R? Let's even start there, right? Yes. All right, so Project R&R, I didn't have my business established. It was under Robertha Budy. And I think when I started it, I knew it was going to be a project. Very simple. It wasn't. There was no other brain. There was nothing behind it. I was like, it was gonna be a project. I was like, oh, this is one. This is the big one. This is a big one. But I was like, but what would I like this to be? What would be my exit strategy? That was what my realtor asked me. He was like, so you purchased this. What is your exit strategy? Like, are you planning on flipping it? Are you gonna renovate it and then sell it, or are you going to hold on to it? So I knew because it was my first property, it was gonna be like super dear and close
to your heart.
Very close. Like it was a person, right? And this is where all my money went. So at this point, I was like, no, I'm gonna hold on to this. So because I'm gonna hold on to it, I needed to return. I need to figure out a way how to get my return on my investment. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just do the short-term rental, corporate rentals, Airbnb, right? Just kind of have it like a revolving door. And I know that I was going to continue to upgrade it, so that wasn't going to be a problem. So I was like, well, if I do that, like what is the feel of the house? Like what do I want people to feel when they come here? Like, and I was like, a perfect R&R. I want this to be the perfect R&R. Like I want people to walk in and feel relaxed.
What's R&R?
So R&R is really whatever you want it to be. But there's a reason behind it. So it's just like, it's a project. It's my R&R also. But what is your perfect R&R? Is it for you to relax, to be recharged, revived? It could have just been me simply restoring and rehabbing the project, right? It's anything that is going on at that moment for that project. So that's why I left it open. It's not. It's an undefined thing, and it's really any ambience that any of my customers want it to be. So if you stay in my property, if you go, you'll see like little things around. It'll say like rest, recharge, revive. And then like if I were to acquire my second property, whatever that next one would be, it may have a different vibe in there. So that R&R is forever changing. But it's always going to be just R&R, right? So just whatever your R&R. So I created the lush backyard because again, I wanted it to be a retreat. Another R.
I commend you on even wanting to be as open-minded to describe whatever the R&R may be for some people, because you've literally given us a bunch of R's that I don't think a lot of people would have even just like, oh, you're thinking of R&R, you relax, be restored, or you think of Whitley, relax, relate, release, you know. So
my website is launching soon, so you'll get a little feel about the background, kind of a little bit about the project, what started it, really what my goal and my takeaway from the project is, and what I even want any guests that stay with me to walk away with. So there will be a tour of the house on there, and let me just go ahead and give you the website now. I'm just going to go ahead and drop this little plug. It's Project R, the letter N as in Nancy, R.co. So that's pretty much the way I even came up with the name. So I wasn't really just trying to say it's a Project Robertha. No.
Has anybody asked you?
That's why I'm going to go ahead and just clarify that, because I think they're just like,
she loves herself, but that's not the reason behind the ara. Okay, let's
clear that up. Okay.
Majority of my channel, I have like a lot of Liberian watchers. So what would be your advice to any Liberian that wants to get into the real estate space, or is already in the real estate space, but wants to get into more of the investing side, to buy and flip homes, and even create an Airbnb? Like, what would be your main advice to them?
Just do it. I think we get so wrapped up sometimes trying to figure out all the best way possible to avoid every single mistake that can happen. But what I think I've learned the most from this is that you just have to do it. Mistakes are like lessons along the way. They're part of your experience. That's what's going to help you become better for the next one. Don't give up. Like, it is very, very difficult. I think I shared that with you. HGTV makes it seem like it is all glamorous.
Yeah.
And while the end result is glamorous, but the journey, the pathway to get to the end result is going to be a little rocky, and it is going to be a little challenging. But I mean, that's what builds your character. That's what kind of help you walk in the right. You can poke your chest out a little bit. You can kind of, cock your collar a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I did it, right? Not even with my Liberian people. Like, don't be afraid. Don't let somebody put you into a box and say that you're only good for this. Always a way. Like I said, even if your finances are not exactly where you need to go, if you have that drive and that determination, and you're a go-getter, and you know that you know what you want to achieve, just go for it. Don't sit down. Don't wait for the right perfect time. There isn't a right time. The time is now. Let your money work for you, because I think we as Liberians, we've had this mindset of like coming and just being in survival mode a lot of the times. Back to a previous question that you did ask, right? Like, where do you even see this going? Like, for me, I've always said that when my parents came here, they came here because of the war, and they were in survival mode. They didn't have the chance to learn all the ins and outs, right? They had to work, get some money, feed the kids, work, repeat, do the same thing, right? But we were fortunate enough, and I say we meaning my generation, we were fortunate enough to at least be a part of the system at an early age. You get to listen to your counterparts, you get to listen to your peers talk about what their parents are involved in, and how they're set up, and how they have their trust funds, and how they have this, and you're sitting there like, we owe it to ourselves to be the generation that starts creating generational wealth. The times that we're in are a bit tumultuous for little black girls and boys, and I think that we owe it to ourselves to set up our children to where, even if the world is cruel to them, that we create the pathway to show them what other avenue exists out there for them, and rather than passing along debt, like a lot of our community, that's what I seem to see a lot of happening. I want to pass on wealth. I want to give assets. I didn't come from money. I don't have somebody leaving me a trust fund anywhere, so I knew I had to build it. And for me, without the backbone of any family member or generation of Americans per se, I knew that real estate was going to be the easiest way for me to start that legacy. The time is now. There's not enough of us in the market space, not enough black women in the market space. That's the only advice I think I have for you guys. Just do it.
Yeah, I love that. What's next for you?
Well, we are on to property number 2.
Yay!
So Project R&R, first property, a cabin in the city, was a success. The launch went super well. But yeah, the great thing is I launched last month and I was booked out for the month. I have 4 bookings on Airbnb. So that's where we are, Airbnb and VRBO for right now. We'll also be in Peerspace. Website is going to be loaded soon. And we have our presence on all social media platforms. So that's TikTok, YouTube, that is Facebook, that is Instagram, and all things Birdie Bird is on Snapchat. Okay, so if you would like to follow me there, they're all there. I'm on to property number 2. Really, it's property number 2 and number 3 kind of synced in a little bit.
Okay.
So my goal for the properties that I'm acquiring is to get older homes, because the older homes are the ones with a lot more land space. I'm going for a little bit of the older builds. I'm not afraid of the project. The last one that I had was 1906 build, but I'm trying to see if I can try to push that up to maybe about 1970s or higher. So getting the homes with a little bit more of a lot, and then I also want a condo down in the city. The Lux Pad is the next one for me. So each of the property that I have is going to have like a theme.
Love it.
All right. So the Lux Pad is going to be the one with all the blinks, the fur, the lights, you know, kind of like giving you that speakeasy type vibe. So that's what I'm going for, and I'll have that project to hopefully complete by the end of the year. So fingers crossed. We're still going.
No, fingers crossed. You've already done it, so it's a matter of like, I'm going to do it, and you've already told the people to just do it. So
just do it.
She's gonna take her own advice, and she's going to not cross her fingers and hoping it's gonna get done. It's gonna get done. Thank you so much, Birdie, for coming on to the Bridge Effect. I hope you guys have enjoyed this conversation. If you want to find any more information about Project R&R, head over to their website. Follow her across all social media platforms. And also, she is taking clients for hair braiding. Thank you so much for coming on. And thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
And thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'm so excited.
Bye.
Bye.